about like so back there. Oh God!
Hey, so today I wanted to do a change of my thermostat. We're doing thermostat change from 185, 190 down to, I don't know, 160 is what the thermostat said. So the reason we're doing this is because the clutch fan is actually going out. So when the engine speed increases, the fan will actually pull more air, and that's how this fan works. It's meant to slip a little bit. That's how it's designed, because, well, if it matched the RPMs all the way of the engine, well, it would be very economic, which is why a lot of people switched over to electric. So they found that over time, these mechanical clutch ones were just old news. But anyways, it's not about necessarily the clutch fan. What I'm wanting to do today is I'm wanting to upgrade from 185 down to 160 to help keep this engine cool. A lot of times people use like the lower ones like that if they're doing racing or something like that, or they're doing a lot of sitting still, or if it's a slow speed vehicle like a chauffeur vehicle on private property or something like that. They might have troubles overheating, so they'll downsize their thermostat. So 160 degrees, once the engine hits that, it'll open and it'll try to keep itself cool. Now, if the engine's too cool, the oil will be a little bit thicker, which means, well, less economy, but it is a truck, so we're not really worried about economy here. And you guessed it, the thermostat is right down in there, so it's 2 bolts. Older vehicles are usually pretty easy to work on. And then I have a Murray here, pretty typical. This is the part number for this 460. Here's the part number. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Well, here we are. Sometimes these thermostats will have seals on the outside. This one is actually stuck. Yeah, sitting here looking at this, 195. I wonder if that's the temperature it's set to open up at. I would say that's the case, since this one says 160 Fahrenheit, 71 Celsius. Now why the old one has a C, 195, doesn't make sense. But anyways, well, that pitting that you're looking at there, I actually took a bench wire wheel to it, cleaned it up, and I'm going to use this to do the engine block. But you can see a lot of pitting there, and that pitting is because the coolant at some point in the vehicle's life has turned acidic. They say after about 2 years of coolant, you're supposed to do a coolant flush, and well, that's why, is because the stuff that preserves the ethylene glycol and the other stuff that they put in it, it breaks down like all things. And so the state that this breaks down is, well, it turns into cancer and essentially eats the coolant circuit from the inside out, and eventually eating things through, and usually ends up costing you a new water pump. Speaking of new water pump, not in this particular vehicle, but I did notice the material is made differently, which is why it's rusting and the block is not. And I could see where somebody has went in there where the gasket seats up right there, and that's not factory. So that means this is not factory. So the pitting that's taking place on here could have been old news, and because of how vibrant and green that looks, it could mean that, well, this coolant is actually good to go. Somebody has already done that in the last year or so. It's hard to say, but yeah. In the way that I was getting this out, now there's different ways you can do this, different tools do different things, but I'm using what I have. I want to, that water level was up a little bit, and you could stick a towel down in there and soak up some of that water, but hell, I was having all kinds of fun with it and making me a soup right there. But anyways, I like that flag. It's all American and everything. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just use a little brake clean here, and I'm gonna spray in these holes, so that way when I go to put them bolts in, it will not squirt the ethylene glycol all over my seal. And this brake cleaner will dry in a matter of seconds, and that's what I want. Here we go. Now she's all nice, sorts, and pretty. So time for me to put her back together. You see how this one has a little lip down there, little bitty lip where it fits in place. This one does not get a seal. Sometimes some designs they get the seal on the outside, but the way this one is, this one does not. Now, usually people use the black for like oil and stuff, but the black is the best you can get. The blue is usually what people use for the coolant, but as you can see, it'll be fine. It'll be fine for this. Use a 1/16 to 1/4 inch bead. Okay, you can see, yeah, I was a little wide on it, but I didn't use much. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the bolts in it. I'm gonna set it down in there, and it's supposed to do it finger tight, not really tight. Now I can go a little ways with the impact just to get it close, but not cinch it down. And what'll happen is in about an hour, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna tighten it down, because that's gonna end up creating a gasket itself. But if I go just wrenching it down right now, all this stuff is gonna go inside and outside of this flange, and it'll be like rolling the die if it's gonna actually hold a seal or not. So we're gonna follow the directions. Okay, so you can see the two bolts on the side of it, that one there. Now I'm just gonna get it there and touch it. I'm not gonna send it home or nothing like that. That was it right there. Now I'm gonna do the other one. That one's kind of at a hard angle to get to. Just about there. Hard to do holding the camera. There we go. So now that's down in, okay? And so I'm gonna come back here in an hour and I'm gonna snug it down to its proper spec. You know, it'll probably just be like one more turn or something like that. And go from there. Here we go. This is the old one. And the new one is now in. Now the waiting game. And then it says wait 24 hours right there on line number 4. Some people don't like to wait. 24 hours later. Well, this old truck's been out here running out for about a half an hour while I'm tinkering with it. Got some other stuff going on. And I put that 160-degree thermostat in her, and she's holding right there. Amazing. Yeah, we're in the operating range. I like how it's running cooler.